believe what your parents say, and you only try it on the equinox, and you're like, oh my god, it works. So
That's
anyway,
hilarious.
happy equinox, everybody. I'm really glad that we are so far into the year. That means that it's less than 100 days until Christmas. So
But does it mean that the retrograde thing is over? Because it's really been doing a number on me.
it I see, I have my own theories about retrograde. I'm pretty sure that retrograde just means anytime things aren't going well in your life, blame Mercury. It's totally fine. Everybody can do it. Let's just have at it. It's good. It's all good.
I don't know. If I lose my keys one more time to my car, I'm gonna actually
Move to another solar system so Mercury can never be in a retrograde. Yes.
I'll get it.
I'm I'm feeling with you. I mean, I'm ready. I feel you on that one. I'm ready to actually make that giant move myself. And the images that are coming back from the telescope, I think they're pretty inviting. I feel like we have a pretty good chance of finding some other better place. I mean, they certainly look nicer. I'm ready.
Yeah,
I'm
they
totally
look
ready.
beautiful. Oh my god.
Well,
Jupiter.
this dovetails perfectly with our topic tonight, which is reality television. I had a interesting, many interesting conversations about this particular topic this week as I got ready to figure out what to ask you guys. Um, I started asking people questions like, "Hey, do you like reality TV?" And here's what I came up with. Everybody has an absolute favorite reality television show that they're diehard about, and everybody has one that they're like, I hate it. I hate it so much. I can't stand it. I mean, it just makes me angry to think about it. And without exception, every person that I know had that as their profile in do you love or do you hate reality TV? Secondly, as I started thinking about the number of reality television shows that there are out there, um, let's not forget that reality TV, by and large, is not really reality TV. What we loosely define as reality TV is basically just cheap production. And I'm so sorry, I don't mean to say it like, tongue in cheek. I actually mean it doesn't cost them very much money to put together these shows where they just throw a bunch of people in and say, okay, here's a couple of things to do, have at it. And they do. And we're entertained by it. Um, Reality TV has launched massive careers. Reality TV has resuscitated careers. Hello, Ozzy Osbourne. Um, Reality TV has done things that I feel like no other medium in the television genre actually could. I still remember my very first sort of foray into reality TV, which would have been like the afternoon TV talk show host kind of things, Maury Povich and Jerry Springer, and I mean,
Ricky Lake.
woo,
Yes.
Ricky Lake, yes, yes. Wow, I mean, you just can't get any better than some of those vintage guests. They're absolutely amazing. But then we started getting more refined, and we, moved on to things like, oh, Cops, where we could actually see real live policemen taking down real live criminals. Ooh.
Our mom's
Uh,
favorite.
I
It gets
mean,
addicting. It really does. I'm just
it
saying.
and so okay, so now I full disclosure, I have a psychologist friend who I consulted on this one, and I said, what is it about reality TV that makes people like it so much? And she said it basically is a method and a mechanism for us to sort of feel less insecure about our own selves. So when you see people doing things that you think, well, number one, you could do it better, or number two, thank God that's not me, uh, it kind of lends itself to this whole, I don't I can't remember the word that she used, but it's a bit like, hey, we get to be the center of the universe in our own minds for half an hour while we watch these people do these things. Um, I also want to definitely bring up tonight that there are some reality TV shows that really make our culture have water cooler moments. The Masked Singer, America's Got Talent. I mean, we rally around some of these shows like they are really important. where would we be if we didn't know what makeup to wear because Kim Kardashian told us to? It's very interesting the way that we approach this. So without further ado, let me introduce my panel for tonight, and then let's get into some cool questions. Tonight we have Betty back. Betty, welcome back from your hiatus, your trip. We'll just say your trip. Welcome back.
Thank you. I'm engaged now at the end of it.
Yay! We're all so happy for you.
Oh, that is awesome.
Did you,
Meh.
the most important thing is, did you announce it on TikTok?
I did.
Talk about reality TV. That I think is the epitome of reality TV.
Where we met, TikTok.
Nice.
We're part of those TikTok lesbians.
Oh boy. Well, we'll definitely have to have a discussion about that. And Tori, how are you tonight?
I'm good. I'm good.
Good to see you too.
Question: can I have honorable mentions? Because there are a couple that I really had a hard time saying were my least favorite or my most favorite. So, like, I want to just be able to make sure that I'm not like infringing on too many shows.
I will open up the dance floor to you, Tori, and give you a whole card to figure out what you want to say. No
Sweet.
problem.
Thank you.
You are so welcome. And Josh, how are you tonight?
I do believe I'm keeping it real.
Very good. I'm going to ask you, Josh, are there any reality shows that drive you absolutely crazy? Like
Crazy in a good way or a bad way?
Well, I'm going to say crazy in a bad way. The shows that like you hear the theme song and you're like racing for the remote to quickly turn it off or change the channel before somehow it leaves a permanent and indelible stain on your brain.
And I don't want to narrow it down to just one. So how about I just throw in the entire MTV lineup?
That's a good choice. That's a very strong, good first choice. I'll give you a chance to also augment and bring up more. What about you, Betty? You got one?
The Kardashians.
The Kardashians.
I agree that yep, we have the same.
They're a national treasure.
The day that Kylie Jenner becomes a national treasure, I am moving out of the country.
Well,
I'm just saying.
She's on a list for youngest self-made billionaires. There's nothing self-made about Kylie Jenner.
No, nothing.
There's nothing self-made about any of their bodies.
But this is I think the most interesting thing, and I'm really glad that you brought up the Kardashians, because this is the most interesting thing I think there is about the reality TV mindset, and that is we idolize people in these really odd positions for being
terrible
nothing. I almost don't even care if they're terrible people. I mean, of course I do care if they're terrible people, but I mean, I don't care that that's how we see them. What I care about is we are actually making superstar celebrities out of people that are not superstar celebrities. Like, we are making superstars out of the myth of who these people are, because reality TV, let's face it, is not reality. It's very staged. It's very scripted. I was surprised, and I do mean really surprised, the day that I read that there are episodes of Cops that are pre-scripted. That is, there are pre-scripted moments in Cops that feel very authentic. Nope, they're not. There's an actual script that these people are using. That just feels weird. That feels super weird.
And it bums me out because that's actually like really good things, like really good footage that you're missing.
The whole thing makes me, and I guess the other thing about this, which, if I can jump into it a little bit, is the problem that I have with this is that it's not that it's scripted, because if it's scripted, okay, just tell us ahead of time, right? Just give us a little bit of, a quick warning. Hey, some of the segments that you might see were scripted ahead of time, or, they were given information, whatever. No, they totally trick us into believing that this is all happening in the moment, and that's the problem. That's the problem that I have with it.
What's the name of that? Okay, so I can't remember. It was one of those shows that was early on, and it was like based on the beach, and these people became super famous.
Jersey
and
Shore?
Beach,
Jersey
Laguna
Shore.
Beach. Oh, Jersey Shore.
It wasn't. No, it wasn't Jersey Shore. It was before that.
Are you sure?
Laguna Beach or
Survivor?
Adjacent to Laguna Beach, but like I just remember back in maybe the I think it was the 90s when
With
everyone.
what's her face and the other guy, the douchebag.
yeah, the
Yeah.
Spencer and Heidi. That
Those people.
yeah, it's the Hills.
Yeah, the
That's
hill.
it.
I just
There
Yeah.
you go.
I
That's
just
the one.
remember like all the controversy surrounding like, is this real or is this not? And like people
The
were
answer
like,
is yes.
we saw we saw them filming and they kept like if it's a reality show, why do you have to redo a scene more than once?
Right.
Like
That
people
is
were really arguing over whether it was fake or real and whether it was staged. I just
so
remember
we have gotten to the point, I think, where the line between what is reality TV and what is scripted TV has been blurred a bit. And I say this with kind of like a lot of love in some instances, because as an example, right, I was thinking about, well, are there any reality shows that I like? And I really do like The Runway. I really love watching that show. um I'm not really a huge fan of like the weird competition-y stuff that happens, but I love watching them make things. I just find it fascinating. I also absolutely am a fan of the Great British Bake Off. Oh my god, I could watch every single season of it like every weekend from now until the end of the year and not get bored. I just love it. Um but but
like
at the end of the day,
I like the Gordon Ramsay kids one because
yeah,
he's like so gentle with them.
well, right, because that's such a stark contrast to the Gordon Ramsay that we all know and
exactly.
love. Yes.
And those
Um,
kids are geniuses.
but I but where do we draw the question is, where do we draw the line? Like, what are we saying that reality TV really is, and then how much of the scripted aspect of it then takes away from us enjoying what we call the reality TV aspect? Okay, so I'll give you an well, actually, you know what? First, let me ask you. Let me start with you, Tori. Give
Mhm.
me an example of a reality TV show that you like, that you think is, ooh, there's something really fabulous about this.
Okay, there's a few, but my number one I was obsessed with was Ghost Hunters.
Ghost
Yes,
Hunters.
I loved it, and like you could not convince me it wasn't real. Like I was so in. I was every week I would be in, and I even became a paranormal investigator for a little bit
Oh
because
my
of that
god.
show.
Did you ever find anything?
Oh, that's
Yeah,
epic.
like weird noises and stuff and EVPs. Like you can hear voices on there. I don't know what they're saying per se, but you can hear like audible voices and stuff. It's kind of creepy.
Well, oh,
Like
okay,
a
so
walkie-talkie?
Yeah.
oh brother. Okay, wait. So quick follow-up question to that then. If you liked Ghost Hunters, right?
Yeah.
Was there something about the reality format that made it feel um like it was going to be more enjoyable for you than any other format? Like, as an
Yes.
example, like, did you like to watch the reality format more than you like to watch a ghost story?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like I've always been interested in the paranormal, so I've had a few shows about it. But the thing about it is it's like you were there, like you were hiding behind, you were like waiting in the van watching all the videos with these guys,
Oh my.
you
Oh my.
know, like, and I thought that like these that how could they fake this evidence, right? Like it's so real, and like, but most of the time they never caught anything, so like it didn't matter. But these
Right.
still made a lot of money doing it.
Right. So I'm going to ask Betty and Josh the same question, but I'm going to circle back to this because I think I have a theory about why we love certain reality shows, and what it does to our brain. So, Betty, do you have a favorite reality show? You're on mute, just so you know.
I like the show Making It. It has Amy Poehler and what's his name who plays Ron Swanson. And they're
His
doing,
name's Ron Swanson.
his name is Ron Swanson. That's true. And the people on that show make crafts, and they're so nice to each other, and everyone is.
Right.
It's really funny because Amy Poehler and Ron Swanson.
Okay.
My brain is just dead. I can't remember his name.
I like that too. I also am a huge fan of the sillier one called Nailed It, which I also feel like is just so fun to watch. I just love it. It's just so fun. What about you, Josh? Do you have a favorite?
You know what? I had a bunch of titles going through my mind, but I think I'm gonna stick to my brand tonight and say Comic Book Men.
Ah, yeah.
Oh yeah. That,
Oh, I also
you know
like the Lego show.
That actually was fun. What's that?
I also like the one where they do the Lego. Like they build all the stuff.
Lego
the
Masters.
Lego Masters, yeah.
Yes, it blows my mind.
Because Will Arnett is amazing.
Ink Masters for me, making tattoos. That's really interesting. But my all-time favorite is Face Off. Like if it could go like order of
If
loving
it's anything like a movie, then I hope that wasn't a reality show.
No, it's about makeup artists.
Yeah, it's about
and,
makeup artists.
Yeah. So yeah, I know.
So this week on Face Off, we'll be taking the face of Betty and putting it on Josh.
Yes.
Oh, nobody wants to see that.
Maybe they do. I don't know.
That's what
be the
makes
one
the
losing
reality
out on
show
that.
fun. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm literally missing out on that. My face.
I would be the loser in that trade-off.
Okay. So I have a theory. So tell me what you think about this theory. I have this theory that the reason that we love reality TV so much is because I think my psychologist friend was right in one respect. There are some TV shows which make me, as an example, right? We all have seen an episode of Hoarders and felt like, okay, that's not me. Thank God that's not me, right?
I only have like one corner of the room.
I hope that doesn't become me.
Or you quickly go to clean your junk drawer because you're like, oh, it's starting already. Something like that, right? Okay, so there are those shows.
Well, I have ADD, so like I have what are called doom boxes. So, and
see,
just basically junk boxes.
Yeah, you got to be careful with that stuff. I mean,
it's literally a thing with people with ADHD.
Yeah.
Okay, so there are those shows, right? But then I think that the other aspect, and I feel like this is where we find enjoyment out of reality shows, it's the illusion that what is happening on screen that we are capable of doing in a good way, right? That we are capable of mastering or being a part of, when by and large, obviously, we're not. We're not going to be contestants on the Great British Bake Off, most of us. We're not going to be ghost hunters on Ghost Hunters.
No, I did put in an audition tape. I did do this. And they did call me back and they asked me a bunch of questions, and I was being screened for Ghost Hunters International, but they didn't tell me that. And the only reason I didn't get it was because I didn't have enough experience. And I was pissed off about that.
Well, okay, Tori, by and large, other than Tori, by and large, most of us aren't going to make it onto a reality show. Well, at least a reality show that involves mega skill. Okay, so, but then let's jump over to the reality shows like Survivor, Naked and Afraid. What was the newest one? The Alone. That was Alone.
Ooh, I couldn't do that one at all. I would die.
Let's talk about those. We all. This is the other aspect to reality TV that I think we just have to all have to have our come to Jesus moment about and admit we like watching other people suffer because we don't have to.
Yes.
Right? And I mean, tell me if you think I'm wrong, but
you're not wrong. I mean, misery loves company, right? Like,
I become uncomfortable when I have to watch other people suffer. And then
me too.
But I don't like watching them suffer.
See, me too, and that's why I am such a staunch I don't like reality TV. I do think though that there are times when I will pick up a reality show, like I'll see the last half an hour of it or whatever, and it does sort of like you get sort of sucked into the idea that, oh, there's this drama or there's that drama, and do I want to know what's going to happen? It becomes very soap opera-ish, but with
But like my
different kinds of
shows,
stakes.
with my favorite shows, I like rooting for the people. Like I get really excited when they do impressive things like making it. I'm like, I can't handle the pressure. And
Yeah, I
Yes.
know, me either. Oh god.
how are you doing? This is incredible.
So
It's so much pressure.
I feel like we should talk about kind of the roots of reality TV, right? Because the roots of reality TV, they sort of go back to being in front of a live studio audience, right? In front of a live studio audience is sort of the precursor to what reality TV is all about, which is the experience happening in what we think is real time. In reality, the reality show is not that at all, right? It's actually a lot of heavy-handed editing that takes place so that we think that time is passing in a certain way, but with scripted shots and with different kinds of like I said, editing tricks. It's very deceiving. It's not really what we think it is at all. But then there are shows which really sort of led the way, and they did happen in real time, and they really made us, I think, ready for the reality shows that we see now. Um, I'm gonna say the one that I said way before, which is the Jerry Springer Show,
I hated that show.
which so a lot of people did not like Jerry Springer, but
I loved it. I loved it.
I
It was
only knew people who
great.
loved it, and I didn't understand. Like the teacher would leave, and they would literally turn on the TV to watch Jerry Springer,
Mhm.
and I
Mhm.
hated it. It was so
Well,
bad.
okay, so let me ask you, what did you hate about it? What was it that you hated about it?
Well, I thought they treated people horribly, and then like I didn't understand why anybody would say the things that they said on TV, and I just didn't like all of the nasty drama. Like it
So,
bored me, and it made me uncomfortable.
okay, so Josh, have you ever seen Jerry Springer? I feel like that's a silly question.
Yes, it's a silly question. I've seen many episodes.
Okay.
So you
What's your
liked it?
opinion of Jerry Springer?
Oh, it's garbage television for
It
sure.
is. I totally agree.
It
But is it
influenced.
entertaining?
Yes, I mean, come on, these
Some
people
points.
are hilarious. Like,
I think it all depends on the subject matter, because there are so many episodes where Jerry Springer's gotcha moments. This person did this to you. This person did this to you, and then you
Right.
retaliated by doing this. Well, guess what? They're here now.
Right.
All of
Right.
these horrible people. Like, why are we enjoying watching these horrible people do horrible things?
One
I don't
episode in
understand
particular
it
that
either.
I liked was a parent went on the show with their teenage kid, and the mom was like ultra religious or something. She's like, my son is a Satan worshiper or something like that.
So
And
she
then
went like
Gwar
Jerry
comes out.
Yeah.
Oh
Yes.
my god.
So having a sit down with Gwar and this, mom was hilarious.
Yeah.
And then so there's that, the Jerry Springer part, there's that, and then there's the evolution that sort of like was working at the same time with the shows that were like releasing the paternity tests when that was a big thing. You are the father. Oh no, you're not the father, and that was a huge drama.
So many gymnasts on that show.
Well, then there was Jenny Jones, and she got murdered. Like her show got somebody murdered because it was a gay guy telling a straight man that he was in love with him,
Yep.
and then he went
That's
and
the
got murdered.
that's the and they're and actually behind the scenes there's actually a lot of very dark moments that have happened with, the Dr. Phil show, which is also terrible.
Real doctor.
And and a bunch of the uh, and I mean, even let's face it, even the reality star, I'm so sorry that you're running for office, dude, but even the should I even say his name? I don't feel like I shouldn't even say his name. Even the doctor who's not really a doctor and just plays one on TV, his show was all about selling quacky miracle cures for weight loss and hair, grow back your hair, and sexual potency, and it was all ridiculous. It didn't Dr. Oz was
You said
never.
his name.
I know,
Thou
sorry.
who, thou who shall not be
I'm sorry. It's
named.
that's not the person behind the curtain. That's not the person
You can
behind the
call him-
curtain.
You can call him the wizard.
Oh God! I mean, just going
Okay.
back and watching that show now is so cringy. It's awful. It's so.
You know what? I always thought he was a quack too. Like I would be in doctors' offices watching him on, like in the waiting room, being like, "I'm about to go see a real one." Like, I'm gonna ask doctors what they think about him. Like,
They make, he just made me so uncomfortable. Which it's like, once you find out all this stuff, you're like validated. Just like finding
Yeah.
out what his name from Maroon 5 is in a D bag. I'm so validated at never having.
I know. I hated him
I
for
hate
so
that.
long.
God,
Like, I knew he was a douchebag. I knew
Yes.
it.
Like, now we know why.
So
I
hold on.
Oh.
This ties into reality television because he is a host on The Voice.
yeah.
Why is he a douchebag?
Oh, because he cheated on his Victoria's Secret wife when she was
she's
3
pregnant.
months pregnant. Like 8
A
months
lot.
pregnant, yeah, with their third child. Like she was like 8 months pregnant, and he cheats on her with their third child together. And she was in like all the Victoria's Secret campaigns for the last decade. Like,
And like even if she wasn't, but like it was a lot too. Like all of these women are coming forward now.
I heard that there were flirty texts, but
No, he cheated like full on.
I
But
don't
they
know
just
anything
had-
about that. Just
Well, they
flirty
had
text
like,
messages.
they had the text where the proof of it happening.
It's convoluted and awful, and let's talk about why reality stars become our idols. And I mean, sometimes we elevate people from outside of the actual reality show sphere to become reality show stars and think, oh, everybody's going to love them. When in all honesty, they are some of the most boring people. And it's the only reason that they become interesting at all is because there's something clearly scripted going on. There's something stupid to watch every week. It's really no different than, watching an episode of some serialized show that had some plot point that you go chasing around. It's just, again, the difference.
I think it's because I'm sorry. I think it's because we watch these people. We feel like we know them, and it's sort of like being in high school.
yeah.
You have a
Right.
commonality,
Yes.
so you can talk about the popular people.
I do think that we definitely have an odd sense of entitlement when it comes to celebrity. That is, we all feel entitled to know our celebrities on some level that, is just kind of ridiculous. But I
They're
also feel like it
stars
goes
just
the
like
other
us.
way. But it goes the other way too, where celebrities feel like they are entitled to somehow be bigger and larger than life, even when they really are just terrible human beings. And that, to me, is not, that's just okay. Yes, is that infamy is a thing. Sure, you can have that. But is it entertainment worthy? And I don't know. Sometimes I feel like, no, it's not. Which brings me to a fabulous segue, which I really wanted to talk about because it's near and dear to my heart, and I live in Hawaii. Dog the Bounty Hunter. So one member of my family, who shall remain nameless, I love you anyway, was so absolutely enamored with Dog the Bounty Hunter as a show because dog does things like tries to be nice to people and rehabilitates people and
He lets
buys
people
them
smoke.
cheeseburgers on the way, gives them a smoke on the, gives them a little pep talk before he throws them into the county jail. I mean, he's a nice guy, right? You know, this is one of my biggest gripes with reality TV. It takes average everyday people who are generally down on their luck, or not even their luck, just having very difficult life circumstances, and dangles in front of them the opportunity for more money or a chance at, brief stardom themselves, and then just uses them. Just uses. There's no other way to say it. You are exploiting
Like the
people in a
Tiger King.
way that is just, it's horrible. And it's the exploitation of people that I absolutely hate. Not the, here, let me show you that I can be a compassionate person, because I think if that's what your message is, great. Yeah, go ahead, Tori.
One of the craziest that drives me crazy, one of those shows is The Bachelor. And I feel like that whole show is
Mm,
scripted.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
Yeah.
everything from the people that they have on there, from the dates,
Yep.
everything is staged, and it's
Well, I don't think
really uncomfortable to watch.
see, that's a show where I don't think it's particularly scripted, but I think that they frame it in a way that kind of corners people into doing things that they might not do otherwise.
Yeah, 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 and it
And then they
pushes
give them too much
pressures,
alcohol. Yeah.
and it becomes almost a pageant at that point, like
Yeah.
a beauty pageant. It's not really like who does he really fall in love with, and
We're
that.
in a small world and everyone has too much and they're all encouraged to drink too much and they're all nobody it's like you become brainwashed and it's I can't think of the term.
But I
Yeah.
will say, I am going to say this. Okay. Yes, these people get exploited. And yes, there is some financial compensation. And yes, they sign release waivers and agree to be aired, basically. Um, and yes, that can be sometimes entertaining. But I think if we go back to this idea that it just, to me, it's not very intriguing to watch people be put into situations where there's an impossible choice, or where they're very honestly going to suffer in some way. That doesn't feel good to me. On the other hand, reality TV is a thing for a reason. There is a reason that it is explosively everywhere. There is a reason that Deadliest Catch kicked off a reality TV revelation, or a revolution, I should say. Well, it was a revelation too, but the revolution of reality TV. There is a reason that we are enamored with a reality TV. There is a kind of glamour behind this that looks very appealing to us. I dare say I am never going to be on a crab boat in the middle of the northern, it's just not going to happen. But I will absolutely watch a crew haul in giant pots of crabs and go, "Whoa, that's amazing."
Go
That
Northwestern.
yeah, that is absolutely a cool aspect where we start throwing stuff out the window of just like human decency. That's where I don't understand how we can continue to watch this. And okay, so I'm going to give you another example. So I totally love it when I don't watch it often, but I do sometimes watch it in like archived form on YouTube. I'll watch an episode of America's Got Talent, or yeah, exactly. It kind of is game show esque. I totally agree with you, Adam. Um, but I love America's Got Talent. I love The Masked Singer. I do love those shows. for showcasing something different that I don't normally get to see. And it does kind of feel good to think, well, maybe these are common everyday people and look here, they get a shot. I mean, there was a lady from Maui that was on America's Got Talent, and I was so excited because yay, Maui represent. I mean, we're so small, right? So that was kind of exciting. And like I do think that there are moments that we can really get behind with reality TV, but then there is so much junk that gets added into this that doesn't feel, that just feels like, okay, now you're just trying to make money to make money, and it's not even good entertainment. But somebody's watching this. Somebody is watching. Um Let me ask you this question. Uh have you guys ever seen Jackson Galaxy and Caesar Milan?
I've seen Caesar Milan. Yes, the dog whisperer.
Yes, the dog whisperer.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay,
Heard of it,
well,
I've never seen it.
he has a counterpart named Jackson Galaxy who does the cat whisperer basically.
Okay.
And that's not the name of it, but he has a
Should
show that
be.
also, kind of goes into people's homes and they have problem animals, and he tries to help you. Like, okay, listen, your cat is bored. That's 99% of the entire show. Your cat is bored. Play with your cat. That's 99% of the show. But sometimes it's, sometimes there's other things going on.
No,
Your cat
you're
has an
right
issue.
though. Like if they all you have to do is take a dog for a walk and it just behaves. Like what happened?
99% of Caesar Milan is, hey, you know what? Let me teach you how to take your dog for a walk.
Yeah.
Yes. And it doesn't seem to matter how many times we hear that. It's still entertaining. The animals are entertaining. The problems that people have, they're relatable because hey, it's animals in your house, and I mean, it's just relatable. Those kinds of reality shows are entertaining and kind of educational. There's a little bit something to them. Those I don't mind. I don't mind them at all. Where they start to get crazy is when you have shows that are dealing with sort of the human side of suffering that makes you feel like, oh my god, how can these people keep going? This is so
Okay.
bad.
We're talking about like them being like not themselves on air and stuff like that. So I really like that one show with Josh Gates where he like went around the world like uh debunking tales of like different monsters and like the chupacabra and stuff like that. I can't remember the name of it now.
Oh right, it was like a Monster Quest kind of show.
Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
so I loved him. I thought he was really hot. Like I was like, and I told my ex-boyfriend that. Well, he happened to be at the Blackbeard Festival, and my ex worked in Hampton. And so like he was like, yeah, I just ran into Josh Gates, and he's a dickhead. He like pushed little kids out of the way. He was like making sure he got the right light. Like I was like, oh my god, he's a diva. Like it made me not want to watch the show anymore because I've realized that like the guy that I wanted him to be, he was not. So I just quit watching the show.
Well, I don't think we can have finish this episode without talking about the phenomenon that was Tiger King.
Yes.
Okay. Wait a minute. Okay, hold on, because I think that this is an important genre distinction. Okay, and Adam brought it up too, because I think that also is a subgenre. There is the reality show. Okay, and reality shows are generally considered to be 24/7 nonstop taping or recording of the subjects, or the subjects in a specific environment where they will be on camera and basically anything goes. Okay. And then there is sort of the subgenre of that, which is the reality TV show game show, or the reality TV game show. And that would be like the one that I brought up about Survivor, and Adam brought it up too, or Big Brother, or The Bachelor. Those really are TV game shows. What makes them subgenre of reality TV is supposedly the cameras are following them around at all times. But again, as we know, there's a lot of scripted stuff that's going on, and we know that heavy editing is what is making the show. It's not like we're seeing 30 minutes of something happening. We're seeing 1 minute here, 1 minute there, 1 minute here, 1 minute there of carefully orchestrated issues and dramas to make it feel like, as they're talking about this person is actually out on a date with this person, and it's not real. We're not actually getting what's actually happening. We're just experiencing some really good editing, and kudos to them. I mean, not saying that's not good, but Tiger King, while I agree it feels carnivalesque and reality, kind of reality stuff, it's not. That is a reality show drama. It's a docudrama, because we never got to follow them around for 24 or 36 hours to
Well,
see what it was that they were doing. We got interviews with them and then interspliced it with all of their info, right?
to
So
be
a
fair,
little
that's
bit
only
different.
because all the footage was lost in a fire.
Yeah, right.
The meth fire that they started.
and
Sorry.
and see, Adam's got it right. A sensational docuseries it does feel reality-esque, but is it? That's the question. And I feel like, for purposes of our show, the reality TV show that I'm thinking of is, okay, you set up a premise and then you throw cameras at people and you see what happens. Right? You see what I'm saying?
Kind of
So an
like the real
episode,
world.
yes, like the real world, or but even an episode of the weight loss show, My 600-Pound Life, where there's the
Whoa.
people who are, I mean, truly, they are very, very, they're obviously crying out for help. They need help. And they're just basically given cameras and access to vlogging. And they say, here, just vlog your journey and we'll send cameras and you know, we'll say what's happening as well, right? That to me feels more reality TV show. Um, and of course, then you have the Kardashians, and you have, like, well, what was the Ozzy Osbourne one? What was that one called?
The Osbournes.
Was it called the Osbournes?
It was called the Osbournes.
Yeah. And
Those,
Gene's Family Jewels was
yeah, the
the
Gene
Kiss.
Simmons family
Yeah.
jewel, right? See, those do feel like they are, like, obviously they are actually scripted, but it does feel to me as if, yeah, this is this feels like reality TV. It's drama, but it's reality TV too. Okay, so I'm going to ask you guys another question. I know Adam's right. They are
Yeah.
so they are
And these
extremely
people, yeah,
exploitative.
these people are sick, and like
They
you're
can
just
only help.
gaining money from that. Like, how can you live like with yourself as a person to like want to do that? And I guess it's what you were saying earlier, but like honestly, like that is one reason why I stopped watching TV altogether. It's just I don't like how people make money sometimes,
Okay,
and I
so
don't
on
want
the
to
plus
support
side,
that.
and I will not say this about Dog the Bounty Hunter, because by and large, Dog the Bounty Hunter never let anybody go. It said, well, okay, the criminal justice system doesn't need you. You can just be on your merry way. But shows like Hoarders and My 600-Pound Life, at least I do feel like there is some aid being rendered, even if it's for a short amount of time. And when I see the aid being rendered, even though it is incredibly exploitative, it still at least gives me a small measure of peace that, here's somebody that probably does not have very good health insurance, that could never afford weight loss surgery, and you give them a chance at an extremely different kind of life. I have to say that I don't see it succeed very often. So then it starts feeling more like you're just throwing people in that are bound to not succeed. But Hoarders, the same thing. You have people out there who clearly have mental illness. And it's possible that by giving them at least a small reprieve, that maybe you could change their behaviors. But if you really want to watch reality TV about people collecting stuff, why wouldn't you jump over to a show like
Pawn Stars.
No, not Pawn Stars. What's
Oh.
the one? Antique Roadshow. Antique Roadshow.
Okay,
Why
that's
wouldn't you
even just as
hop
bad.
over to Antique Roadshow or something like that? Because at least at least you're not exploiting people, right?
Yeah.
You're just looking at stuff.
But also, they're very good at disguising some of them, like that one show where they compete to lose weight,
Mhm.
and then you see all
The
of
Biggest Loser, yeah.
all of the issues that they have afterwards, and like most of them gain all their weight back, or they have
Right.
terrible issues because they lost it in ways they weren't supposed to, and then they're just abandoned.
Yep. Yes, and that's I think that's the other aspect of this, which is we can really do a lot of damage to a very large swath of people simply by trying to make money on them for the entertainment value of everybody else. And listen, before I, get too all high and mighty, this is nothing new. They have been doing this since the days of the Colosseum in Rome. Let me give you some money for my entertainment.
Yeah.
Clang swords and fight animals and do whatever.
Become
This
famous.
is we are absolutely hardwired, I think, sometimes to watch other people do things that we won't do or couldn't do or don't feel like we ever want to do, or we just feel lucky enough
Survivor.
not to be that person. um but then I again, I do think that there are some plus sides to watching people experience things that may or may not be identifiable to us. Like, I think sometimes the old talk shows tried to bring forward, hey, maybe you are a little bit too jealous of your partner. Maybe you need to give your partner a little bit of room. Or maybe you need to stop harassing your children about, this and that, because maybe that's really driving them away. Or those kinds of things. But I feel like
Super
we've
Nanny.
moved. Yes, Super Nanny.
I
Right.
love Joe.
I love that show.
Joe's the best. I love her. I'm obsessed with Joe.
But we've moved out of that kind of that isn't sensational enough for us, and now we have to have the next biggest,
Yeah,
boldest
because
thing.
I think in one vein of this is the people that had multiple babies because of Kate Gosling and her husband. Like,
Right.
like they boomed an entire fertilization and female production. Like, that they're playing with nature now, and that's not cool. Like, don't genetically modify people. Like, that's what
Well,
they're trying to do.
Also,
Wait, what?
the number of people. It was the Kate plus
Kate-
whoever equals 8.
John and Kate.
John and Play. Yeah, there you go. That was it. Where people were basically going to get fertility treatments to try to have multiples, to try to have, sextuplets and whatever. Okay. Let's talk about this in particular, though, which I just want you to weigh in on and tell me what you think. An awful lot of reality TV stars, or people who are put in the position of being the reality TV star, we find out later that they are really not very good people, or we find out later that they really never did what they said that they did. And to a great degree, although they fall from stardom, they certainly don't really suffer any huge impact for that. They don't, it's not like we don't hate them. We just forget about them.
Yeah, we didn't shun them,
Right?
like-
Yeah. And we even like give them little guest spots on stuff to go, oh, hey, look, this person, here back from, like, we can resuscitate their entertainment career. And I wonder how you feel about that.
And
Like,
Danny Bonaducci.
Danny Bonaducci, even Kate from Kate and,
Yeah.
Kate plus 8. I hated her.
I hated her too. She's such a,
Listen, you know what? I didn't know her, and it's not fair for me
like,
to.
She was the original
I
Karen.
didn't like him, and when I watched the show, I didn't like him because I was like, she's taking care of another child. Like, of course she's stressed out. And then I realized, well, they're just both terrible.
Right. And, but here's the thing, right? And this is why I wanted you to weigh in on whether you think that this is a good thing or a bad thing. We,
Like reality?
as the audience viewers, we actually don't know these people. I mean, we take entitled privilege in thinking that we do know them, because we're shown a lot of edited clips and because we're shown a way of seeing a person and what their decisions are, and we think we know them. But how many of us would stand up to that kind of scrutiny if a producer came in and started to film us for 36 or 72 hours and then edited together the story of who we are? I'm not saying that some people don't deservedly really need to be, not on TV. I'm looking at you, Kardashians. I'm sorry. Just no, I'm actually not sorry.
And it
But
makes me so mad that they're so rich off of it. Like,
yeah, right.
so
I
many
mean,
people
it just
love them. Like,
yeah.
no.
It doesn't sit well with me. It just doesn't sit well. But my point is not that. My point is I'm not making any sort of fundamental morality play on whether the Kardashians are good people or not. I just don't happen to think that their celebrity has been earned in any way other than I look slick on camera. And
No,
maybe that's all it needs to be. I don't know.
her claim to fame was a sex tape.
Hey,
So
that's what
yeah.
reality TV as well.
Hey, can I interject real quick?
Absolutely.
Okay, I know it's talking about the Kardashians. It's kind of low hanging fruit as far as talking about talented people, right?
A little.
There's not really much there to go off on, but and I can't believe y'all are making me do this. I think the key to Kardashian success is the hard work that they put into just the marketing of themselves, and the hustle cannot be taken away from.
You mean that the mom
that
was
is true.
holding all her children?
Yeah, it doesn't matter what it is. They put in a ton of work by making the right connections, by doing, what's called the right stuff, putting out the right social media content, making sure that their image is exactly what they want it to be. It is a full-time job.
That is true. You're right.
That as well, like, because a lot of people putting that work go nowhere.
But the question isn't that. The question, to me anyway, the question isn't.
Yeah.
The question isn't whether we think that these people are good business people, because I think that can be debated. Well, actually, it doesn't even need to be debated. If the ledger sheet shows it, you're probably, yes, that is, you're a good business person.
Good, yeah.
But the bottom line still comes down to, for me, if what you're doing is saying, I have a market share of TV viewing audiences because I do X, Y, and Z. I'll just give you one more example. I absolutely cannot stand Real Housewives anywhere. I mean, anywhere. I don't care what place they're in. I don't care if they're in Atlanta. I don't care if they're in New York. I don't like them.
Nene Leakes was in Lima, Ohio, teaching at McKinley High School.
You know what? Beverly Hills has mini ponies, and I'm all for some mini ponies.
I find that kind of slice of life idea where let's just throw cameras around people that are doing things that are clearly just outrageously drama-esque.
Well, that show started because some rich man's husband got bored, and he was like, here, go have a hobby. And this is what happened.
Yes, honey, you can have a show.
Yeah, it's okay.
That's another thing. Andy Cohen is kind of the brand of that, and he sort of made that something as well. And then all of the women on the show, like Bethany Frankel, look at the brand that she's just for being on the show. So
right, and that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that you can be a success because of a reality show. That is not in question. And you can also market yourself really well because you had your 5 minutes of fame. I am not knocking that, because I feel like your 5 minutes of fame, that's important. Everybody can be entitled to not entitled, but everybody can be, everyone can appreciate having 5 minutes of fame. Awesome. Great. If you can market off of that and get rich, whew, man, more power to you. My concern, not even my concern, my dislike for reality show stars is that there is this sense of absolute here I will be a superstar for doing nothing. And that feels like it is kind of a spit in the face to the people that have to work really hard to become something that well, any thespian, anybody who has had any part on TV, that isn't just sort of a, well, hey, here's a happenstance. But I'm kind of conflicted about some things, because I also recognize that, like Josh was saying, it's not that the Kardashians are just Kardashians on the TV show. It's that the Kardashians are the Kardashians everywhere. Their quote unquote brand means everything. I mean, not to be political, but it's kind of like the whole Trump train, right?
Yeah.
It's that Trump doesn't just think of himself as, hey, I'm this person. It's, I'm a mega corporation. I'm a
And he
whatever it is
got
that I imagine.
He got not and these stars get America behind them because
Yes.
of their fandom. Like,
Yep.
and reality star fandom is different than like network star fandom. Like, there's two different, like, like,
Well, you said a minute ago, it's like a spit in the face of, actual actors who spent all this time. But I think if you think of it like that, you're considering it actually affects, like, say I'm an actor. The Kardashians don't actually affect my life or my career trajectory. Like,
Don't they? Are you sure about that? Because the market share of reality TV is suddenly, by percentage, taking over from scripted television.
Yeah, it's a
So
time
we should be
slot.
careful. We should be
right,
very careful about that.
but I mean, I think that if it wasn't the Kardashians, it would have been somebody.
Oh,
And,
sure.
and to think about it in terms of their lives or affecting my lives, I think that would negatively impact my mental health.
So
And
I'm not talking about calling out the Kardashians themselves.
just an example. Yeah.
Right, and I really am talking actually about the reality stars themselves taking over our primetime slots, our actual consumable television hours, in a massive percentage, not because the entertainment is so good, but because it's inexpensive, because it is high drama, because it's easy to edit a spin, and because we love the kind of conflict that arises from that. So I'm certainly not saying that it doesn't have a place on American television. I'm saying that it is replacing American television that is the scripted drama, which I think we should be a little bit careful of, because for the most part, if you ask people about what is reality television, they still think it's real. They still think it's unscripted. They still think that it is, sort of a thing that just happens spontaneously, and it's not. And that I feel like that was sort of where I was going with that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's a problem. But I think there are still actors that can go do actor things.
Yes, I mean, absolutely. And one of the reasons, and I know we're running slow, or we're running late on time here, but one of the reasons that the Discovery Warner, HBO Max merger is so troublesome to me is because Discovery has been one of those platforms that has been really ramping up its reality TV catalog in a huge way, like spending a lot of money in it. And a lot of money in reality TV is a hell of a lot of hours for a catalog to have. So when you merge the HBO Max and the Discovery Plus platforms, you're getting a lot more reality TV to saturate the airwaves, as opposed to scripted entertainment, which again, it takes a lot more work, it's more expensive, it's harder to produce than reality TV. And that my concern is sort of around that. I mean, we can all debate whether we think reality TV is good or bad, but at the end of the day, is our entertainment more about what we want to see on reality TV, or is our entertainment more about what we want to see in House of the Dragon, Rings of Power, and or whatever? Do you know what I'm saying?
Only to their own. The TV show.
But by the way, just sort of as we close out this hour, I have to plug Andor on Disney Plus. I watched it last night, all 3 episodes. Um, wow, it's really excellent. It is nothing like any of the Star Wars satellite shows. It's not Mandalorian, it's not Obi-Wan, it's nothing like any of them. It's actual meaty story. And it really plays itself out. Like, obviously it's in the Star Wars universe, but it doesn't become a caricature of the Star Wars universe, and I happen to really love it.
I
So
didn't even hear about that show, so thank you, because I think I'll be watching that tonight.
If I've never seen any of the other ones, can I watch it and know what's happening?
you absolutely can start it from the very beginning and have a beautiful character arc unfolding in front of you.
Nice.
So don't feel bad. Yeah, don't feel bad. Spoilers, if you don't want to know what may happen at the end of Andor, don't watch Rogue One, because Rogue One is where everything will end. So that's about as spoilery as I will get for you. Rogue One is another Star Wars movie. But don't watch Rogue One and just watch Andor, and you'll be fine.
Okay.
Makes sense? That's my.
I saw one of the newer movies, and I'm trying to decide if that's Rogue One because I don't know the names of them.
Did it have Luke Skywalker in it?
Oh, it did not. No, that wasn't the one.
Did it have any of the regular Star Wars characters?
Does it have Han Solo in it?
No, it was like, I don't think it did. I think it was like one of those. I didn't really understand how it fit, to be honest, like why it happened.
Did you see Darth Vader?
I saw an explosion at the end.
Yeah, you saw Rogue One. Or
Then
not
you
Rogue
saw
One.
Rogue One.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Andor is the, if you will, prequel to Rogue One. It is
Well,
the
now
events
I'm sad, and I've never even started it.
of the world that have happened before Rogue One.
Okay.
And from a storytelling perspective, it is, it's not the Mandalorian Western in space kind of theme, although it has a lot of those same thematic tropes in it. It's not as in your face tropey. It is absolutely a really good, solid drama. I really liked
Well,
it.
I guess if you've watched it though, it's probably very suspenseful because you're like, is this going to be their fate?
Yeah, it actually still is, because there's a lot that we don't know about this character. There's so much that went into, how did this whole thing unfold and who are all of these satellite characters around them. So there's plenty of world to explore here. As my second promo, I will also say that Rings of Power continues to be excellent television, truly excellent television. I know everybody is super into House of the Dragon, and so am I, to be honest. Although, just I won't say the word, but F Kristen Cole. I hate you. I hate you. I hate you. But I really absolutely love Rings of Power. And I know, like I said, I know Game of Thrones spin-offs are big right now, and there's going to be even 2 more. But Rings of Power has a unique facet, and that is, like, I would let my kids who are, in their preteen ages watch Rings of Power, and I don't think I would let my kids watch House of the Dragon. There is a flavor to this which is a little bit, it's action adventure, but it's also toned in a way that is a lot less in your face than House of the Dragon in terms of violence and sexual content. And it's just a generally awesome story, and it's so rich. I mean, there's just so much happening. And I promise, if you contact me with any question about Rings of Power, I will absolutely jump on that question and talk your ear off for an hour if you want me to. I am that nerdy about Lord of the Rings, and yes. So we are going to close up our episode. Bye, Adam. Thank you so much for joining with us. We're going to close up our episode by, I'm going to ask you guys one last question. If you could be on any reality TV show, what would it be? Josh.
You're just gonna
Any
throw
reality.
me under the bus like that. Just right
Any
off the bat.
reality TV show. Would you like to invent one called The Bus Driver? Because we can do that.
Yeah. Maybe I'd get paid decently. Then
Don't hold your
I'd
breath.
imagine they would pay me scale,
Don't hold your breath.
which would be fine. I'd settle for scale.
The
No,
audience will fall in love with a kid. So yeah, you're good luck there.
You know what? Only because we hadn't mentioned it, we haven't really mentioned a whole lot of Netflix reality shows, even
No, we
though they are pumping them out like crazy.
Well, I mentioned Nailed It, which is uniquely
not-
Netflix.
Name the show that I'm going to name Joshua.
Oh, then I have to. That is completely on brand for me.
Again,
Fine. And then I will say Comic Book Men. It's the one that I named at the top of the show. It is, part Pawn Stars, part Kevin Smith movie, all awesomeness. Just to hang out with, the guys at the Secret Stash would be, I think, pretty cool. Learn about comic books and whatnot.
I could totally see myself together with those guys playing at least some D&D. That would be really fun. I feel like that would be absolutely really fun.
Talk to Brian Johnson about Vulgar. I don't know if any of you have seen the movie Vulgar.
Yes.
I'd love to talk to him about that.
All right. Okay, Betty, give us a reality show that you want to be on.
Too Hot to Handle. No, I'm just kidding. Josh, you know what show I was going to name, Josh?
I think so.
Okay, let's hear it.
The Circle.
Yes, I want to be on that show
Ah.
so bad. I actually started an application and then I stopped twice because I want to be there so bad. They're like actually nice, even when they're liars.
Talk
All
about,
right.
we're talking about personal branding. Just a little real quick on The Circle. If you're not familiar, it's a bunch of people basically locked up like prisoners in an apartment building, and their only ways of contact each other is through an in-house social media app through text messaging.
It's a
That's
dream.
so cool.
It's a dream come true for me.
So you can go in, and be yourself, or you can be a catfish and create a whole new persona.
Also, it's kind of tailor-made for introverts.
Yeah, it's like
such a
pandemic.
perfect thing.
That's a perfect show for the pandemic. Like, come on, that's exactly what we did for a year.
Nice. Very nice. All right, Betty, give us. I'm sorry, not Betty. I'm sorry, Tori.
Yeah.
Tori, give us the reality show that you want to be a part of.
Okay, well, I can't say Ghost Hunters because I said that in the beginning. So I will say that I really, 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 really like. Oh God, it's a toss up between two. I'm gonna say Pawn Stars because I love old stuff, like new stuff, old stuff. Like I'd like to be like not bringing stuff in. I'd like to be the person naming the price on the stuff. Like bringing in the
Nice.
experts and stuff. Yeah.
You want to be on Pawn Stars, but I'm afraid the best I can do is American Pickers.
Okay. Oh, darn it. My parents loved that show. That and Antiques Roadshow. They watched that every week. So that was their thing.
There was
That's another one that I was really sad to read. Was totally scripted, and that they sent scouts out long ahead of time to find these places when it just looks like they drive by and happen to see some old rustic farm with look, Smith.
From the
No, that's not
1800s.
what really happened. It made me really sad to know that. Yeah.
Hey, that's where the producer's car is parked. Let's go there.
Oh God! Oh my! It's so funny. I apparently I'm just a really gullible person.
there's one that takes place near like Chicago or something, and like there's a woman in there that she just like yells at all the customers and like
Oh,
one-
charming!
A pawn show?
Tabitha, like the haircutting show.
No, like
Okay.
which
Is it a
by
pawn
the way,
show?
I was read by the psychic medium. What's her name from New Jersey? But like somebody stole a traffic cone on it because the woman at the pawn place was being such a bitch, and they were like pissed. So like,
Is it
Oh,
Hardcore
no.
Pawn?
yeah, like
Oh, there you go.
Like off the 8 Mile in Detroit.
these
That's
people
the real
that
pawn
sell are
stores.
gross. Like they're horrific people.
Well, my pick is going to be kind of an obscure one because, of course, I always have to pick the obscure stuff. It's a show that I watched, and I don't even think it has a 2022 episode list at all. It was Discovery Plus. It's called Halloween Wars. Um,
Oh
close.
yeah.
Oh my god, I feel like moviesandmeals.com would absolutely fit perfectly in the Halloween Wars genre. I mean, that's half of what I make anyway are scary movie story recipes, so I feel like I could totally fit there. But my very second, like absolutely next level is 100% the Great British Bake Off. I would 100% love to be the Yank inside of that group. And yeah, I don't even think I would care if I failed. I think it would just be fun. So that is definitely my choice.
Talk British to me.
Indeed, indeed. And also, my kids tell me that I put as much flavor in my food so that I could get an honorary British culinary award anyway. So I feel like I'm halfway there. I'm absolutely there. Okay, Tori, how can
Yes.
we find you on social media? And tell us the good news about your podcast coming back.
Yes, tomorrow, after a long hiatus, I am not banned from Facebook by going live. So
Woohoo!
I'm going live tomorrow. And if you want to join me, that would be awesome. And my show is called The Infectious Geek, and it's going to be on every Friday night at 9 p.m. You can just go to my Facebook page and it'll be right there. It's public. You don't even have to like friend me. You can just follow me. And then you can follow me on Instagram at Rush Story. And right now, I'm just like, I don't post a lot of pictures of me. I just post a lot of memes, and I'm hoping like, I get shared a lot.
All right. Awesome. Betty, how can we find you on social media? And will you be sharing an engagement ring photo with us?
Well, you can find me at TikTok or Instagram at Betty Chitty Bang Bang. And there is a video on TikTok with a little video of me and my now fiance. And at the end, it shows her off her engagement ring. I do not like rings, so I am not getting one.
Okay.
I'm not getting an engagement ring.
Okay. Well, I will accept the donation of the ring, and yes, then
Well, she
and
has
then
a shiny one that I got her, so that she
But it
loves.
has to be the one ring to rule them all.
exactly, I was just gonna say that. But I will also accept a diamond that I could then pawn, and then maybe I could be on a reality show.
Yes.
And then we could, yeah, see, it all comes together. Look at that beautiful segue.
I have
a circle.
I didn't want to say anything, but I have a lot of really good ideas like for reality shows. And I think that it would be, but I'm not going to say anything. I don't want them to get stolen,
Oh, we
Oh,
can all work on that together.
that's good because let me tell you, we don't need any more of them right now. Could you just sit on them for a little bit and let's
Yeah.
see what happens? Yes.
Yep.
Absolutely
Okay.
not. I want to get rich.
You can do them on TikTok.
Yes. I mean, honestly, you really could. You absolutely could. All right, Josh, how can we find you on social media?
Well, as always, you can find me on Twitter at SkidComic, or you can go to WatGoMedia.com to find out all of the latest and greatest when it comes to Watgo Media, and as well as all the links to the social media pages where everything gets posted. You'll be able to know what shows are on when, and tune in live to participate in the discussions, much like Adam did tonight. It was good to have him giving his 2 cents throughout the episode. You can go to thewadcast.com because we do the Wadcast every Friday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. Tomorrow night is episode number 105, and it is all about Kevin Smith's View Askewniverse. What is that? Well, Kevin Smith created this movie called Clerks many years ago, and recently the third movie, Clerks 3, dropped for special engagements. So Brandon and I both saw Clerks 3. We're going to talk about that with some heavy spoilers. And also, we're going to talk about all of the movies that brought us to this point in the story of not only Leonardo, New Jersey, but, all of the Jersey tales that Kevin Smith has brought us over the years.
Are
So
you
that's
also
the
going to
Whitecast.
Are you also going to mention the Big Bang Theory episode where Kevin Smith mentions he was doing Clerks 3 before he was probably doing Clerks 3?
Yeah.
No, because we're sticking straight to
Oh, meow meow.
Clerks, Mallrats, Chasing Amy, Dogma, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. Let's see. Clerks 2, Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, Clerks 3, and just for funsies, and we're going to talk about how everything ties together on tomorrow night's show. We're going to be mentioning the show, yes, TV show, that never got the justice it deserved because it was way ahead of its time doing adult cartoons before they were really a thing. Clerks, the animated series.
Wow. Sounds like it's going to be quite a show.
Oh, it's going to be awesome. And Kevin Smith
You-
liked the tweet talking about it. I'm just saying.
Nice.
Ooh. The
Maybe he'll join you as
kind
a
of
special
famous.
guest.
Twitter is
Yeah.
another reality thing.
Yeah. We'll have to do something about Twitter sometime.
Yeah.
But you can find me at moviesandmeals.com. And before I forget, next week's episode is one that we also did on the movie Potluck as well. And I think this is going to be interesting because there are a lot of these out there that ended up being series that we sort of wanted to talk about and didn't get to talk about. They are the book to series shows. The ones that have worked and the ones that haven't, and the ones that we want to see. Do you have a book series that you want to see put into a TV
Yes.
series?
Absolutely.
Let's totally talk about that next week. I have a bunch that, and I mean, this is absolutely yeah, everybody. Yes, this is my favorite. I absolutely think that this is going to be the explosive Netflix episode because Netflix has brought us so many book series that I feel like some of them worked really well and some of them were so terrible. What the heck were they thinking? So I can't wait to see everybody next week. Thank you so much for joining me, everyone. We will see you soon. Bye.